Uh, uh, People, first of all, uh, thank you for joining this call. I'm particularly happy to see Sridhana here. Uh, People on the call, students, Sridhar Guttam, who is there on the call today, along with our friends from Thousand Miles, is another friend who has been associated with Free Software Movement for a very long time. He runs the Open Access Movement of India. So he's a general secretary of this organization called as Open Access Movement. Welcome, Anna. Uh,
Hello.
while introducing free software, FSMK, I'll also talk a little bit about open access, what they do. And uh, many of you know about FSMK, so I'll not spend too much of time on it. But for those of you who do not know about FSMK, FSMK started in 2007, 8 times to basically take free softwares into people, help people understand the free software philosophy and uh, get along with like-minded people and do something for Indian society in terms of doing projects, social projects, which take technology to the larger set of people. And it is established on the basic principles of free software that knowledge should always be free and it should be uh, widely available for everybody to access, because the thing that grows when you share is knowledge. So the word free in free software actually means freedom and nothing to do with cost. It is not as in free beer, but as in uh, free speech. So that's the famous quote that is known to everybody. Now, on the similar lines, so inspired by free software movement, other science movements also started endorsing the activities of freedom. And one of the important movements that is running across the world is free biology movement or free open biology movement or open pharma movements, where they say the whole thing about IP and restrictions on the innovation that are happening should not happen. So Sridhar runs a similar thing. You can actually discuss this accessibility issue of journals. So tomorrow, if one of you wants to pursue your PhD or you want to go into your higher studies after your BTech, so you will all have to read lot of technology journals, the innovations that are being done by technology researchers across the globe. So these researchers, they publish their work inside the journals, and so if you want access to those journals, it comes with a huge cost. What it means is people like you and I do research, we put our knowledge somewhere, and it is not available for people unless and until they have affordability to read it. So it's a control knowledge, kind of a thing. So open access basically is that all the scientific development that is happening around the globe should be available for people to freely access. Now, so so FSMK is involved into a lot of activities like this, and now that everywhere we are speaking about AI, and in the previous sessions, you might have already getting to start with using Gen AI, and probably you all know about the difference between Gen AI and the traditional AI and what Gen AI is changing. There is a lot of buzz about what Gen AI is doing. One of the things that FSMK is very conscious about is how to take this technology within the framework of controls that needs to happen. And this control is not related to technology thing, but in terms of how do you actually know that OpenAI is not dangerous? How do you actually know that all of this proprietary AI tools that are Gen AI applications that are available on web, which is like uh, ChatGPT or say Claude or any of these, right? So how they are uh, actually not dangerous for humankind, right? So we endorse. these kind of discussions to have proper rail guards to be there around the usage of technology. Uh, One example I'll give, very recently, Google has, Shil, can you just, if you're still there, can you just post that link? So Google very recently has posted saying it will not allow Android to be open anymore. What Google explains as a reason is that so this will now stop fraudster apps to be made available. Okay, so they say that, okay, so if you want to develop an Android app, now you have to register, you have to verify yourself, you need to give your personal data to me, you need to give your government IDs to me, and you need to pay a fees to me, and only then you will get access to my stores so that you can develop an app that can run on Android and you can post it. This is very against the very statement that Google made while releasing Android, that it will commit to keep the Android open and free. Now why they are doing this? They're saying to keep the fraudsters at check. I can just uh, uh, disable people from making a fast call to somebody. Say I will fast call to Shijil and say, okay, download this app and put it. It's a very urgent thing and all. So to restrict all of this is not right essentially. Now what will happen because of this is uh, so lot of I would always, you like to use a technology, right? Like for your college wants to use an app within the uh, like your students want to create an app for yourself to share notes. Now this is something very private to your students group, right? And you don't want the whole world to know about it. Now with this restriction of Google, you'll not be able to do it. It is as simple as that. So railguards doesn't mean steal information from people, restrict information from getting access to that. It is about security that you need to provide as a layer within your system. So those railguards, right? So these are the things that we keep endorsing. So all these things you will learn along the way. So this is going to be a series of sessions from FSMK, which we will be doing. This is first of its. This is second of the series sessions, and each session we will bring you closer to AI technology, and in each session we will have some also a social element of it that you will learn. Like today, I mentioned about how Android is getting closed. What I would request you all is to click on the link which Shijil shared. So using that, you can actually send in an email to the competitor control board of India saying you should not allow Google to do it. So thanks for listening. If there are any questions, we'll take it at the end. Over to you, Praveen. And once again, thank you all for joining. Over to you, Praveen and Shivan, Nithin.
Yeah, thanks, Naveen. So thanks for the introduction. And Shijil, like you want to present
Right,
about
I
the
can.
yeah,
So I think in
yeah,
the interest of time, I'll actually just make it very quick. So again, I should also bring up the name Thousand Miles AI. You can see that on the poster as well. This is friends of FSMK. We are actually collaborating in conducting various technical workshop. They were actually part of FSMK, and they are right now working in industry, and they are currently I mean, they are actually spread across uh, around the globe, actually, I would say. And they've been supporting FSMK, hosting mentorship programs, and obviously this technical workshop of this sort. And you'll be hearing more such collaboration, especially in terms of doing a lot of projects. So when I say so we have some announcement today that I mean always whenever I we talk to students. Students always ask us, can you help us in actually mentoring them, working on certain real world problem solving, I mean projects, I would say. What we also understand that students knows a lot of thing, but they kind of lack an immediate support, building a solution that actually can run next day, a real world application and production ready application, I would say, because it, that comes from years of experience, right? And obviously, when you get into industry, uh, um, just the theoretical knowledge is not just enough, right? So you should have real hands-on experience. And we've been getting requests to actually help or mentor in doing such projects. I know students got a lot of ideas. So we're just announcing, Praveen, you can share the link here. So we're just announcing an opportunity for all of you to actually start working with us. If you got ideas, you can actually share your ideas. We can help you actually in setting up projects and probably guiding you, mentoring you, and especially to meet the industry standards. And obviously, this project should be an open source project, and we don't want you to just expecting you to actually not to come up with ideas of this sort, like a student management system. But we're thinking probably you must have seen, or you must have thoughts of actually attending certain real world problems, socially relevant problems that you could actually address with this force as a tool. And such problems give much preference actually. So you could come up, submit as a group or individuals. We will have further processing. We can contact you. So we have just shared a link right now. So after the session, you please submit, we will actually get in touch with, and this will be an ongoing activity. So with that, I would say, since we are already late, and I would suggest, I'm over to you, Praveen or Nithin. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Srijal already gave some introduction, so like for Thousand Miles, so I don't want to reintroduce. So just one of the mentors in Thousand Miles. I'll talk about our program later. But today, our session is based on like going beyond vibe coding. Like I'm sure most of you have seen this AI tools for coding, etc., in the last couple of years. But many don't like go deeper into the process, like improving the process of getting better output results from this tools. So today we will show you a glimpse of that. And before that, the session, for the whole session, I just want to let you know that if possible, please maybe keep your video and audio muted. We will have a dedicated Q&A session at the end. There is no problem. But if you have any questions in the middle, please write it in the chat, and also keep an eye on chat, because we are sharing all the links so far, whatever Naveen mentioned, the Android related link, and also the other activity which we are kickstarting, which Shijil mentioned. All these links are being shared in the chat, and also through this session we will share some interesting links which might be of use for you. So keep a look on that, and yeah, take note of these links, which might be helpful for you. And with this, I just and one more thing I want to mention, like if you are fully following the session, and by the end, if you fill the feedback form, you will be, well, FSMK and Thousand Miles will be issuing a certificate which you can add it in LinkedIn, for example. Yeah, okay. First, and I hand over to Nithin. Then let's get started.
Yes, thanks, Praveen, and thanks, Shijil and Naveen, for the introduction. Okay, myself, Nithin. I'm currently working as a software engineer in Wipro, a fintech company in Munich. I'm based in Germany right now, and apart from being a software engineering, I'm part of Thousand Miles also. I'm part of the mentor. I was part of the last few mentorship programs of Thousand Miles, and I was part of FSMK when I was in Bangalore, few years back, before I moved to Germany. So that's pretty much about me. And like, yeah, we have like Shibin also joining, and the Praveen will also be in the chat. So like whenever you have any doubts or like anything not clear, like please feel free to ask us in the chat so that we can clarify it, and we can go, yeah, after that. So that, yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's get, okay. Okay, so here is our agenda. So today's plan will be like, okay, so the topic is like beyond vibe coding and like how to make use of agentic coding tools. And we will also introduce the open code, which is an like coding agent, open source coding agent. The source code is fully open, and like this will be using like the open weight models. Like, yeah, we will be using some free available open weight models to like get introduced to the open code as in like a open coding agent. So like that's the like high level goal. So first we will talk about what is vibe coding and like what's the pros and cons of that. It's not always bad, but like sometimes it's bad. So like we will discuss it about that. Then like we will discuss about like different types of agentic coding patterns, the spectrum of coding agent from like vibe coding to the proper agentic engineering. Then we will also introduce the open code. We will have a small hands-on. We will try to install the open code. We will discuss about like agent.md skills and how to build a software or like an application with the sub agents. Then we will also like try to deploy this small application into the Vercel. Like we are using it because like it's easy available, and it has a MCP connection. So like we will just briefly talk about like MCP, and the final we will have a summary, and like we will talk about mentorship, and then there will be a Q&A section. So that's will be the high level plan for today. Okay, without any delay, we will have the first poll. Like, so we just want to know about like who all are like our audience, so that like if you want to like adjust our content or anything based on this. So like we just want to know like what's your experience with using AI to write code. Have you used any agentic coding agents like cloud or anything?
So you will see a poll, and feel free to just answer based your preferences or yeah, your experience.
Yeah, nice to see some people read all the lines written by the AI. That's actually nice. Yeah, like majority of the people are already shipped something with AI, so they are like really familiar. Yeah, some people are already familiar with open code, cloud code, and everything. So that's actually pretty nice. Okay. If somebody not voted, please. Okay, I guess like, yeah, this is pretty enough. Like, yeah, then like I can continue to the first session. So yeah, so like let's just define what is vibe coding. Like, so like basically it's like coined by Andrej Karpathy, like the like famous AI researcher. He was like OpenAI. Now I think he is in like Anthropic. So like how he defined or coined the term is like, okay, like you tell what to build. You don't in a like a plain English language. Like, so if you want to build a like a to-do list app, he just say like build a to-do list app. Like then the AI or the coding agent will write the code, build it, and you just check, okay, is it working? So if you want to change the color of the button, you just say like, okay, change the color of this button in plain language. So you don't look into the code, you don't look into the architecture, you don't look anything like what's the AI generated, the output of AI generated is not really used. You don't really look into that. You only see the final product. Is it working as you expected? You will always communicate with simple plain language. You will use like, most of them use like a one shot prompt, like, okay, build me this application or build me some other thing. So that's how it's usually used. Like, so simple example is like, the AI is driving the car, we are just in the passenger seat, so we don't know what's AI gonna do. Is it gonna crash, or is it gonna reach the destination we wanted? But like, since it's a software engineering, so it's like easy, like even if you crash, like you are not losing your life, right? Like, it's like just a program, that program will crash. So that's what, like, the vibe coding. The cons, like the problems with the vibe coding is like, we don't really read the code. Like, we are like far away from the code, far away from the software, like architecture and everything. So we don't have the mental model of how it works. So if something goes wrong, how will you debug if you don't know the mental model? So that's like one issue. And like, if you are adding lot of features, like you add like 10 features, and like, if you add one more 11th feature, maybe the first 5 features will be like having an error, or that will be broken. So that's how you, like, usually vibe coders, they don't add tests, they don't add any like uh, safety gateways and everything, so they just want to get it done. So though lot of other aspects of the software engineering will be like discarded. So it will be difficult to maintain. And one of the main issues, like, once the vibe code was like very famous, we used to see a lot of people creating new applications, and they will share the link, and as soon as they share the link in the Twitter or something, someone else will look at the application, and they will say, oh, you leaked the API key, you leaked something else. Like, so there was like no security and everything. Like, so that was like a mess in the initial times of vibe coding. Like, it's easy to leak something, easy to like other security attack, like SQL injection, or like exposing the secrets. Like, so if you have like authentication or something, and you didn't properly implement the authentication, like, so it caused a lot of security issues. Like, yeah. And like, other thing is like unmaintainable, as I mentioned. Like, as this vibe coded application keep growing, it will be very difficult to like follow and like maintain this application. So like, there are like a lot of issues with this. Like, even if you think like, okay, we all use UPI in India, right? Like, so will you trust a UPI app that is simply vibe coded by someone who doesn't look at the code, who doesn't verify the security or something? So will you trust your money with an application that's just vibe coded? Yeah. So the answer will be obviously no, right? Like, so like, I don't trust my money with someone who didn't verify, who didn't follow the software practices and everything. So that's like the current state of vibe coding. And like, it's not always bad. Like, okay, if you want to build a MVP, like you want to build like a like prototype, you want to quickly create something, you want to, after that you want to discuss on top of that. That's what like people usually do for vibe coding. Like, even in my companies, like the product managers and everything, so like, before they finalize the feature or something, they try to vibe code some features or like some applications, so they can see like how it's gonna behave. Then like, they can find like, okay, this is I want to do. Like, but like, of course we don't put into the production, but like, it's easy to build something, and on top of that we can have discussion, we can have findings, or for all those things. For example, if you want to write a one-time script, if you want to automate something, and if you want to do one-time script, that's okay. Like, you just write and you just see, okay, the script worked or not. Like, you are not going to reuse it, or you are not going to maintain it. All for those cases, vibe coding is like pretty good tool and pretty fast and efficient tool. So that's the one thing. So after, like, what's beyond the vibe coding? So like, that in the spectrum of AI assistant coding, or like agentic coding, so we will have like 3 spectrum: vibe coding, and the structured AI use, and like agentic engineering. So before that, like, I just want to like define like, what is coding agent. Coding agent is an agent which helps us to to program or like code. So what is like agentic coding? Means like it's simple. Like okay, if you use a coding agent to do a programming, you are doing an agentic coding. So that's pretty like obvious, right? Like then the next is like what is the basic is like what is an agent? Agent, I would say like an application which can achieve a goal. For example, I tell the coding agent, write this simple Python program. So that's the goal of that agent, and that agent will make decision, and agent will basically talk to LLM, and based on that, it will create the application. So it will have its own decision to reach that goals. So that's basically agent. So like the things to remember, like what is an agent, what is a coding agent, what is an agentic coding. So like all are like pretty easy. If you like, okay, you just use if you used like cloud code, or if you used like what else, like anti-gravity from Google, or like if you used GitHub Copilot, everything is doing same. Like they all are like coding agent, and when you do a programming with that, you are doing agentic coding. So that's like pretty much it. So but like even though it's these three aspects are using the same thing, but like how we use it has how it's defined the spectrum. So vibe coding, we already defined, like it's like talking with the natural language. I just say what I want, build me this application, that's it. I don't see like which architecture it's using, which programming language it's using, how is the backend defined, how is the front end defined. I don't give any damn about anything. Like I just want this to build an application and it should work. So like I just only verify, okay, is it working as expected? That's it. I don't read the code, I don't check the errors, I copy paste the error and ask, hey, I got an error, fix it. That's it. I don't even understand the error message. So like basically, like as I mentioned earlier, scope of vibe coding is like prototype or writing a script and hackathons. Like we don't usually, people don't put it in the production systems if like because of like it's not really verifiable and like less guardrails for them. Then other thing is like structured AI, like that's like more control. Like I would say like structured AI is like AI is driving the car, but like we still have this steering wheel, so we still control, like we still have the manual override on top, so that like we write the proper prompts, like okay, instead of simply write an application, write a to-do web app, I would say like, okay, please create a to-do web app with Next.js and backend as Python and use React for the front end. All this very detailed prompt and everything we will add. And we will also add manual testing. Like we will check, okay, is this all the corner cases are working? We will read the code. We will verify, okay, is this doing as expected? We will diagnose the errors, like we will understand how it's worked, we will understand the architecture, we will understand the plan, what it's created. So it's still like, it's still guided, reviewed, and it's most of the companies who is like, some of them are like early days were doing this. So and other one is like agentic engineering, where like we specify like all the specification, we define the architecture documents, and we define like best practices, and we will define all the restrictions or like the rules for these agents to work. So we will say like, okay, use this you should only use this design pattern, you should only use these patterns to do the coding, you should be checking the security. So there will be a security vulnerability checks. All those things are like it all are like guided, and based on this guide, you will ask the agent to write an application. So it's like very systematic. Like what is like, okay, we take the software engineering process, we make it very systematic, we make it very guarded, and then we ask the agents to build on top of this guardrail so that it's safe. And that's what like most of the industries right now is doing. They have a lot of safeguards, the lot of like disciplines of software engineering discipline, and they are doing like, so it's like making use of the vibe code, but like with more safety. Like the velocity will be same as vibe coding, and like we are not usually doing any less manual reviews, because we have all these constraints. So like takeaway is like all this vibe coding has its own space in software engineering, same as agentic engineering has its own space in software engineering. So like eventually we want to reach agentic engineering. So that is the code will be like an abstracted away, and like we can work on the code on top of this AI. So that will be like, so if you think like how we evolved, right? Like, so I started programming like, okay, 2010. So like at that time, like we were using Google, we were using Stack Overflow, and like we were looking at the documentation, and like then we were writing the software. Now then, like this IntelliJ, like some good IDE and coding uh, IDEs come, like development tools came. So VS Code and everything came. So they started giving us, okay, they will generate the skeleton of the program function. They will find the autocomplete for the next keyword or something in the programming language and everything. So it's all like how do I say, like improved. Then like ChatGPT came, the cloud came. So at that time, like we will ask like, okay, how to, for example, I used to ask like how to move this button left to the left side using CSS. So the chat GPT will generate the code. We will take the code and copy into our IDE. So like that's how we used to work for sometimes. Like we stopped asking question to Stack Overflow. We started to ask questions on chat GPT. Then the next step was like this agent, like coding agent. Then the cloud code came, open code came, like Codex came, all these coding agents came. They just not write, give us the solution through the chat. They actually modify the files and write the application within our workspace. I just need to open it, my files, and it will modify my files, add a new, for a JavaScript code, or like everything. Like I just need to specify. So that's how like we evolved, and that's how we reached at this space. So yeah, and like this is just a recap about like our software development cycle, right? Like, so you already maybe learned in your software engineering theory, like, okay, so classic software development like has few stages, right? First you have to research, then find the requirement, then design, build, test, and deploy. So everything is like, so this may not be exactly what all industry, all the companies does, but like in high level, everybody has like some steps, and some will be like skipping some steps. So this markets research is like where you go and study about like, okay, what the problem I should solve. Like if I solve this problem, will I get some revenue? Can I make some money? So that's where like market research happens. So usually the business analysts do that. Then like we have requirement engineers who does the gather the requirement, clarify the requirement based on the business analyst report. Then we have like software architecture, who build the architect, who will design the high level systems. Okay, we need microservices, or like we need monolith. Okay, we can use Java for this, we can use Go for something else. All these high level designs are happened by a software architect. Then this software engineer will build. The same way we will also have like front end UX designers who will handle how if you have like a UI or something, how it should look. Then we will have like code review, usually happen by senior software developers who review our code developed by the software engineering. Then finally we will have like testing, QA, and then we deploy this application to the production, and all our clients can use our application. So like this is the high level software development life cycle. So what's happening in industry is like each of these roles has been like with using the AI help, they are improving the productivity. Like, so market research, we have like some deep research AI skills. They can use it, and they will do it much faster than a human doing. So like all these steps in the normal software engineering development life cycle are like I wouldn't say distracted, like I would say like enabled by the AI. So like the productivity is like increased. So I can say like my personal experience, like before this AI, we the writing the software, writing the code, testing was the slowest process. So we will be always bottleneck. So this product owner and product manager comes to ask like, hey, what happens, like why is it taking time after coming the AI, like we can build much faster, we can build the software like pretty fast, like 10x faster, and like now we ask the product manager, what should I build next, give me another feature, hey, give me more specification. So that's how it's getting changed. All these aspects of software development cycle is being improved or like enabled by AI. So all are like getting much faster and much better. So that's how it's going. And okay, so the next stage is like, okay, we would like to all of you to install this open code if you don't have already installed. So my plan is to like just Praveen, did you share the link?
Yes, I have shared the link. I can share again. So if you already have open code, that's great. I will also share the link again. I have already shared in chat.
So like open code is like an open source coding agent. So it's built by the open source the community. So like you can check the GitHub repo if you want to know more about like how it's built. So it's like one of the famous alternative to cloud code, like this proprietary cloud code or like Codex, all this private copyrighted other coding agents. Open code is one of the famous and mostly used uh, coding agent. So that's why like we wanted to like have a small demo with that. So you can check out I can also share the GitHub link. You can also try to install it. So basically, like if you go like if you have like npm install, it's pretty easy to install. You can use npm i minus g open code CLI open code AI. So it will install the open code. So that's the okay. If you all installed or like while you install, I can show like some of the features of open code. So let me, after you install, you can just open it like open code in a terminal. Oh, my terminal is visible. So it will be
Yes.
like open like this, and like, yeah, this is pretty much the UI you have to work with for the open code. So like if you like have a forward slash, you will have some of the features. I can like slowly go with the features. Like, so the first thing is like models, like you can select the models, like uh, usually open code is like a CL software, but like it's need to talk to an LLM. So not all the LLMs are free. Like as you know, like many of the LLM you have to pay for per the tokens. Like if you remember our previous session with the Praveen, so uh, we need to talk to an LLM to get the token. So like LLM is like the engine behind all this coding, all these AI agents, as well as all these coding agents. So why we took open code is like, so even if you are doing a demo, like you can check for free models. So usually they will provide some all this like DeepSeek, Mimo. These are like all these open weight models. So we can use a DeepSeek V4 flash free. Like, so this is like free model. Like they will support like they have a rate limit, but still they will allow us to do some small demos and some small works. Like it's not like as good as paid version, but like still we can get things done with these free versions from the open code. So that's why like we were showing it with open code. Like, so once you install, you can like check the models and you can select the free model. If you search for free model, you can check DeepSeek free for free model, and like, and you can similar to ChatGPT only, like, but like ChatGPT will only answer the question you ask, right? Like this just not answer the question, it will also act. It can change the files, it can write a program and execute, it can run the terminal. So it's like much more powerful than ChatGPT, because like it has tool calling capability, it has like MCP capability and everything. So like, so if you like, so if you can see, like, so it will also show like, okay, what's the context window, like, so I have like I think this has like 200K or 1 million, I'm not sure. So this will say like how much tokens so far I used, how much percentage is my context window, how many MCPs I have already active, like, yeah, these are the MCP I'm using. So, and like there are like two modes of open code, like one is plan and one is build. The plan is to like, okay, before you build something, in normally in industry people try to come up with a plan, like, okay, I want to build a to-do list web app. So it will generate a plan. Then after reading the plan, after you understand the plan, okay, this is what I gonna build, then you change to the build mode. So like you can see here, like this is the plan mode, then this is the build mode. So in the plan mode, it can only read the data. It will not make any writes or any changes to your code. After that, after building the plan and after confirming the plan, you can start executing with the build. So that's like the high level this introduction to the open code. And like there are like a lot of other features which combat the session, like, yeah, which we can, like, I'm not going through all the features because like we don't have enough time. So for the sake of the time, like I'm stopping till agents, like I'm just only showing the modes, context window, and like there is also session. Session is like once you start the agent, it will start a new session and you can store the session. You can come back to that session. All those things are handled by the session. Sessions is like one session will be like kind of one memory or something if you want to map it. Okay, so pretty much, so like I would say, like if you have installed the open code, we also created a small like repository with the basic skills and basics MCPs. So this is the repository. I think I can share the link. Could you also like clone this? Like, so how I was planning is like, okay, we will together, like, okay, I can walk through it. We will install the open code. You can also follow and install the open code. Then we will come to this starter kit. This is a small repository we created. Then we will clone this repository, which will have which will have some skills and some other things we configured. We will talk about it. Then after that, like using this repository, we will create a plan for a small project called to-do list app. Like we created to-do list app because like we want to build something, like we are showing the process. To-do list app is like, we know that it's a simple app. It's not like really worth or the valuable, but like we want to keep the problem statement simple so that people understand the process rather than they confused with the problem. So that is, if you guys installed open code, please clone this repo. Okay.
Yeah, just send send a poll. Like if anyone already had open code or installed now, just send yes. So we know if someone is following and can answer questions accordingly. Yeah, Nithin is also showing you can. So again, guys, don't worry if you are not able to follow. Maybe you join with phone or you are outside, but we are also recording this, right? We will share this in our YouTube page. We'll also give the links to that. So if you can also check that later. But if you are able to follow with us by the end of this session, you already have something done. So yeah, please feel free. Yeah, I think Nithin, yeah, we can continue. So some people are still following.
Yeah, so like if you are like also like there is one more way, like if you go to GitHub and if you have seen this, you can start a code space with this repository. So I can show. So you don't need to do anything on your machine. Like you can just run this on the browser with the GitHub. So that's what like another option. If you couldn't install open code in your machine, you can you can start a GitHub code space, which I can show. Like go to the repository we shared and go to the drop down the code. Like you have like two options, local and code spaces. If you start a code space, it should look like it will install everything, and it will also have, so it will take some time because it has to install open code and it has to set up the virtual machine. So you can just play with it if you are like not able to install locally. So like yeah, so like try this GitHub. Like okay, we will wait for 1 minutes so that everybody can finish. So like if you couldn't install locally, please try to do it with, if you want to really try, you can also use the GitHub code space. So like see, like I opened, like I have all the files here and I can see like open code is being installed. So once it's installed, you can also use within the browser. You don't need to use your terminal. You don't need. So basically it's a virtual machine, and the virtual machine has all the code from that repository, and the open code latest version also installed by default. Yeah, it will take some time. So like, meanwhile, I'm going to clone this repository locally. I will go to this. So I will open this. So I'm using the set editor. So like you can also look at the README file. So it will have all the instructions how to like install open code, and like we will also using the Vercel. So how to use the Vercel and what's all inside this thing. So yeah, so like before we do any actions, like let me tell you about like what is like agents.md. Like there is a file called agents.md in the repository. So like it's like a markdown file, agent.md, that sits on the root of our repository. Like this is like this is like the instructions every time when a new session is started with open code. So agent.md is not just for open code, it's being used for like a codecs for OpenAI, or like anti-gravity, or like I don't know, Copilot. Everybody is using the same convention, agents.md. Like the cloud is using their own cloud.md. So basically the concept is same. So we just say like, okay, in high level, what is it like? Okay, what's the coding convention? What's the architecture nodes? Or like how to run a test? So here we are simply telling, okay, we are going to use an Next.js and Node.js for this project. We will have both front end and back end are in Next.js. So like this will be loaded to the context window every time a new session is started. So every time an open code is started with this project, they knows, okay, these are the things I should follow. So otherwise, the agent has to look into our code and find things. So this will make it easier. So we will also tell them, okay, we please use these skills. So skills are in this folder. So that's how like we were making the agents to understand the high level properties of this project. That's how we wanted to use the agents.md. And like uh hope, okay, like okay, 5 people was able to understand. I am able to install. So like I'm continuing. If you have faced any issues or something installing open code, like let us know, or like use it here. So look, like here it's already installed. I will start one terminal, and okay, I'm gonna, it's a little bit slow. Okay, I can open code here. It's little slow because it's running in the browser, not as fast as locally running. See, like, so yeah. So if you are not able to install locally, you can also try to install it in you can try it with OpenCode. So you can also lock free models, and you can try it here. Like, okay, I think we are running a little bit late on time. So okay, so we talked about agents.md. Next one is like what is skill? Skill is like we have like you added two skills. One is like grilling. So skill is like a folder under .agents/skills, which will have the name of the skill, and it will have skills.md. So basically, like it's a domain specific knowledge or like a workflow, and instructions to agents to do something. Like it's like, okay, agents.md is always added to the context, but skills are added dynamically. Like, so if I want some skill to do some action, I will use the skill. For example, I don't need like, okay, I can give simple, like a more funny example is like, okay, you have a skill to make chai and you have skills to make biryani. So to make biryani, you don't need the skill of chai, right? Like, so you don't have to remember how to make a chai when you make a biryani. So like when you make a biryani, you only use the skills of how to make the biryani. Similar way, we have like the skills for different things, and you will load that skills when you actually need to use that. So here, like we already added two skills. I can show how to see that. If you open the open code and if you go to the skills, you can see like the grilling and the grill me skill. So I will talk about that. Like, so grill me is like, it acts like a requirement engineer. So you say something to the thing like, okay, grill me, I want to build this. So instead of directly going to build something, it will keep asking clarification question. And unless it's like, you have to make a lot of decision, right? Like the agent will not make any decision. It will ask all those decision to us, so that as a user, I will be the one who actually making the decision. Why we are introducing this, like the grill me skill is like, okay, it's not really needed for non-computer science, but like as a computer science student, we should always understand, right? Like, okay, why did I make a choice of using Next.js instead of like some other framework? Why did I use React instead of like Vue.js? Like, why did I keep front end and back end separate? All those things are like some architecture and technical decision you should be familiar to make, and you should familiar to understand. So that's why we are introducing this grill me skill. So I can give you an example. So I will go to another folder, cd without skill. So here is an example, like how to, okay, here I am going to ask, create a plan. Create a plan, build to-do list. So this is the prompt. I'm copying the prompt and I'm using the grill me skill. Same prompt, but like I'm adding this grill me skill. So it's asked like, oh, what kind of, like, okay, without the skill also it will ask like, okay, web to do app. Okay, I just said web to do app. So it will ask like which technology use. I will use Next.js. No. in memory for now. Crude only. So these, like, even without the grill me skill, it's only asked my like this decision, but like rest of them are like all made by the AI. So here, if I here, like it started like look like it started the question first. It's asked like, what's the data model for to do item? It like the without grill me, it didn't ask me what should be the data model, what should be required, and it will also give us like, okay, the recommended answer. So if you don't have any idea, it will help us to make the decision. Okay, so it's asked like question one, what is the data model for this to do item? Okay, this looks fine for me, so I say yes, go ahead. So instead of, it will keep asking the question, it will ask like, what's data I need to use? Like similarly, we selected, we will use in memory. So like you can also try to create a plan. Like, so our high level plan is to create a to-do list app. So if you have installed the open code, and if you are already cloned our repo, open code in that repository folder and try to run this grill me skill and try to come up with a plan, like try to answer the question this grill me skill is asking you. And like it is also asking me like, what is the API endpoint? Like, yeah, it's like simple crude is enough. Same I selected here. Then it's keep asking me another question. Should I need like fancy UI or simple UI? I will go with like basic crude UI. Uh, like here it's asking like, what's rendering approach? So this is like a React question. So if you don't know how to select server actions or client component, that's the advantage of GrillMe. You have like two choice. You can go learn more about it, and you can make an informed decision. Like with the vibe coding and with this here, you don't learn about how you learn, like how you use the decision, right? Like, so assume this, like you build some nice cool project with vibe coding and you went to an interview, and the interview will ask like, why did you use like client component instead of server action? Like you should be able to answer that, right? You shouldn't be simply say like, that's what AI selected, so I selected it. So that's the purpose of this grill me skills. That's the purpose of like how you should use AI. Let the AI do the coding, but let you make all these decisions. So that's why, like, even if you build a lot of AI nice projects, you should understand why these things are made. So the interviewer may ask or may grill you about the decision you made. So if you simply say I made it with the AI, they don't have the same respect, right? They will think like, why should I hire you? I can hire a coding agent, right? Like you are doing the same thing as them. Like what's make you different? So that's like in this AI era, like you have to act like a senior. Like even though you are straight out of the college, you act like a senior. Like I know this. What's the difference between the client side, the server action? I know what's the difference. What's like event driven architecture? I know what's this. So you can make that informed decision. That is more valuable than like simply writing codes with AI. That anyone can do. But like who can make the system informed decision, that will be more valuable skills in this AI future. So I'm going with the client components. What are styling? So like it's asking like, should I use CSS or should I use Tailwind? So Tailwind is like for like fancy big one. So I will just go with the plain CSS right now. The second question is like data fetching pattern on the front end. Should I use raw fetch or like any library? No, like this is a simple project, right? Like I don't think I need an extra library. So I will go with the raw fetch. So that's like, what's the difference between here? It's like found everything planned within like few seconds. It didn't ask any question. it didn't involve me in the decision making, but these skills will make you design the software. So that's like the difference between with the skills and without the grill me skill. Okay, next is AppRouter. Like, yeah, so I will go with the AppRouter, approot.ts. That's the latest technology. Yeah, so like there is no Next.js project. So like create it with the create next app. That's what like the official support. No, I should use this. So see, like after that, it will create a plan. So, and it will ask me like, should I build it? So I hope like if any of you got following this and reaching like at least you were able to create some plans with the grill me, and you found like you answered some questions asked by the grill me skill. You were able to use some like free models like, and like you have the plan. So like I can review this plan. Okay, so that's usually how right now many people work in the industry. Like they create the plan, they use like the bigger models like the Fable or like Opus or like ChatGPT 5.5 or GLM 5.2, all these like big models to do the plan. Then after plan is reviewed and I'm happy with the plan, I will ask the smaller models, like the specialized smaller models, implement this. So here also the next step is like I want to build with sub agent. So I will tell them, okay, build with sub agents. So why we need sub agents? So I will explain that. So like, so we created the plan, then I am asking to build. So building this simple to do app. So I will quit this so we can see some other things. So see, like once you have the plan, it creates all the to-dos, what to do, and it will also let us know like which all task it's done. So you may have already seen this with like VS Code, Copilot, or like anti-gravity. It will create to-do and it will like tick off all the work it's done. So it's trying to create the application. So I will go back to the slides and like, okay, we already covered what is agents.amd, why do we need. We also told about the build mode and plan mode. Then like we talked about the skills. So like we were like only like we added like two skills. One is front end design, one is grid me. So we showed like what's the difference between build creating a plan with the skill and without the skill. Okay, so like we saw this, and I think Praveen already shared like some nice. So you can check out this guild like skills.sh. So it will have a lot of other skills like famous skills. Like this one is used by us. Like that's like the one of the top skills people are using. The fine skill, front end design skill, which is already we added to the repo. So the Vercel like best practices. So see, like these all skills are being used. Like, so as I said, like you can dynamically make the add the skills so that that agent will be expert in that area. So if you use for example a Vercel React best practices skill, so when it write the React components, it will follow that best practices. So in its context, it has all the best practices in memory, so it will use that. So this is for to enable all those things. There are like thousands of skills, and yeah, once we are expert in all this, you keep finding new skills. You get it from your colleague or friends. Okay, I found a new skill, or you will start writing the skills. So I think our application is still running, like it's still building. Okay, let it build. Yeah, so like another thing is like why did we use subagents? Like the subagents was used because like the plan is created by a high level agent, so it knows about like how to build the front end, back end, and like how to connect this front end and back end. But like it has lot of context in its memory. But if you use subagent, we will create a new agent. We will tell them, okay, you work only in the front end, so I will give you only the front end context. So it doesn't has to worry about the back end. There is no context pollution related to backend in its new agent's memory. So that's why we use subagents. So reduce the scope. That's like advantage of AI, right? Like maybe if you remember the Pravin's last session, we have like the context window, and like as the context window is full, the output become not as efficient as like the context window is not full. So to improve that, like context window is limited, right? Like previously just 200K, now it's like 1 million tokens is the context window. To efficiently improve, we are using the sub agents. So instead of all the problems related things in the context window, there will be a supervised agent that will delegate the work to the sub agent. So for a simple example is like there will be a front end, back end, and wiring agent. The supervisor will tell this front end agent, you only build front end. Other one you will tell you only build backend. Other one you will tell you only build the wiring agent. So that's pretty much it. Okay, let me see what's happening with this. Okay, it's generating. So like just want to see like is any one of you guys were able to generate any plans?
So yeah,
So
if
like
you
I
want to, I just added this poll. If anyone completed the grill me session, yeah, we have.
nice.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. At least one person was able to follow. That's actually nice. Do you let us know like why were you able to use grill me session? Like is it because you couldn't install the open code, or like open code was not working? Like let us know like if you what did you face not able to use. So like yeah, so like if you look here, like I told them to build with agents. So you can see like I have like two agents working parallel. Agent one here, like agent one is building the API routes, and agent 2 is building the front end. So this is what we discussed in the slides. So one agent building the front end, it does not know about any API or anything. Other one is building all the API. It does not need to know anything about the front end. That's the advantage of sub agents. So like that's how open code does this. Like yeah, it makes it efficient and faster. You build it in parallel, and you can move faster, you can build things faster. So like yeah, so I can also see like two tasks are running. They are independent, so they can run in parallel. So let me wait for, yeah, like if you guys have finished the plan, and like you can just start building with the sub agents. See like if it's working with sub agents, so just type like build this plan with sub agents. So open code is smart enough to run it in like a sub agent model. Okay, let me wait for this to finish.
So yeah, since there are some questions in chat, so we can answer. I think Deepak was asking. Okay, though, so skill.md, right? It basically when it goes to your context. If you see like in the bottom of the screen, right? So we have this context usage shown in open code. Yeah, there in the right side. Yeah. So it basically adds to this context. So context is like it gets added as tokens, and that's how it works. That was your question. If that clarifies where it feeds to. So context is where everything is. Your prompt, your system instructions, whatever files you are adding. If you have already repo and your agent have already read some files, everything goes to the context, even the skills. Yeah, so this Preetham is asking, this video will be uploaded to this. Will take some time, maybe a couple of hours or more. We will. Yeah, this is also time you can add your questions to the chat if you have something to ask.
Yeah, since it's building, and yeah, you can see like I have 2 tasks. It's almost finished. Yeah, it says like both agents completed. Now it will try to merge front end and back end, so these things will be built. So it's building the last part, like CSS styling. So once you build, all the codes are ready. Like the last part is like improving the CSS. Yeah, once everything is written, like it will try to build. So like that's the advantage of coding agents. Like we don't have to do anything manually like previously. Before coding agent, like the code will be run, like we have to manually verify, we have to manually build. Now it's all executed by the agent itself. It knows, okay, once I build, I have to run the like npm run build. Like I need to test it. All those things are like already known by this agent. So let me now open this. Yeah, so like if I open the code, I can see all the root pages. So okay, like if you're like once you started building, like if you face anything, or if it's working with the sub agents, or like if you find any issues, like let us know, like we can also. Yeah, so like it's pretty much done. So it give me the summary, like what's it's built, these projects files are used. So it say like, okay, we are using Next.js, and React, TypeScript, and what's the like API root point, what's the thing. So it's pretty much done. So the next part is like, okay, I'm trying to deploy this. So like, that's how like we are using the Vercel MCP. So like if you check the MCPs, I've already configured Vercel. So Vercel is like some you can easily deploy web apps. So that's like MCP is the way we can the AI agent can communicate with the platform. So let me tell the open code to deploy. Deploy is to Vercel. That's something. So see, like it's read our agent.md and it says like, okay, agent.md says Vercel MCP tools for all deployment tasks. So it checks, does it have the MCP tools available? And it has, then the MCP tools will tell like, okay, use the CLI. So it checks Vercel CLI and I already logged in as my Vercel login. So like since we don't have enough time, like I'm not going to explain how it's, but like we already added this in our readme file. So if you check out the repository, you can see like how to install the Vercel CLI, how to log in, and how to authenticate the MCP Vercel. All those things are like explained in the readme file in this repository. So yes, so like it was able to find how to deploy and like it's deploying it. So like if any of you were able to build this to do app, you can also deploy. You can log into Vercel, you can configure the Vercel CLI and you can just deploy it. So like so it's already deployed. You can see it's deployed and this is the application. So you can check this. See, it's already deployed. So like I can share the app we deployed. All right. Hello, right. Our plan was to make sure all of you build, deploy, and share the URL, but like we don't have like enough time to make sure like everybody is going to reach the state. Like we have like some time constraint on that. So like so basically like in the summary, if I go back, so we built like, yeah, so we used the Vercel MCP and with the Vercel MCP, we deployed the application we built. So like in summary, in the agentic coding, what we did is so far now is like instead of wipe coding, we use the skills. One of the skill was grill me to clearly add the requirement and clearly make the decision without blindly trusting the AI agent or like the coding agent. So we decide like all this why we made the Next.js, how it was like in memory or something. All these things we explicitly decided. So it as a software engineering student, it will make you to understand the technical like choices and trade-off and understand the choice, and it will be make you better software engineering in the future. You will act like a more like a senior than the junior when you have the skills. So once after that, we used to build it with sub-agents. Once it's built, we created the plan, we built with the sub-agent, then we used the MCP to deploy. So we didn't use like any of the Versal CLI. We didn't explicitly type any command or something. Everything was, if you look at here, like everything was done by like the open code. We just only told them, okay, deploy this. It actually deployed. It already made sure like this is working as expected. Everything was done with the like open code. So what enabled communicating with the Versal is the MCP. So we don't have enough time to explain this. So we will have more sessions to talk about the MCP, talk about more skills, how to write skills your own, all those things. So like that's pretty much what we did. Like, yeah, thanks everyone. Like if any of you finish to deploy to Versal, it would be nice to share that link at the end of the feedback forum. So we just want to see like you were able to understand at least how it works. So yeah, that's from me. And like, yeah, I will hand over to Praveen.
Yeah, thanks, Nithin. I hope I'm audible. So
Yes.
I will share my screen for the last few things. Okay, so yeah, it's also like if you have any questions or anything which you didn't understand, you can always add it in the chat. We will do a Q&A session in the last. Again, like you can also talk and ask questions. There is no restriction to it. But before that, like I wanted to like talk to you about something very important which we as Thousand Miles are doing. So yeah, you have already seen this presentation from Nithin, like how we move away from just uh, web coding to a more structured or a agentic coding, structured or agentic coding towards there, working towards there. The whole idea is like to how to use different tools available to us effectively to achieve it. But this is just very like just we just started the first page or 2 3 pages of a big chapter. It's a huge. There's a lot of things going on and how you create the tooling around this CLI, like and make it work more agentically or more autonomously, but with certain constraints and like delivering with quality of what companies expect. And yeah, this is just a start. So what we would say is like if you are not following any of this, yeah, just start getting used to this. Use the skills which we shared some links. Maybe you are a front-end designer. You can try out a few of the skills related to your purpose. Maybe you wanted skills, try out something else. There are skills you can try out skills for that, etc. Try to build something and experiment, right? So that's one way to learn. But most of the time, it's also like you might feel, okay, I got something, but I still need some help, someone whom you can like ask help to or guidance to how to go step by step. Like we also need some help sometimes. So that's where we come in, this Thousand Miles, and what we have an offering of a mentorship program. So not that like this meant it's not any internship where we just give task and you do it. It's a mentoring program where which is planned for like about 3 months. The whole idea is developed based on a few things which we are observing currently in the market, right? Like in the last 2 3 years, you also might have seen how this AI era is completely redefining how the way we do things work. So the same effects is also already being seen in industry, and the way in which software is getting built, how it is getting built is completely changing very rapidly, and we are also trying to like adapt daily with new things. At the same time, we also see that like the mostly for students or what we see the institutions or the academics is not keeping up with that, right? So there is a lot of university processes in just updating your syllabus, how things can be improved for you in your universities, but it's up to like it has mostly fallen on students to like put effort on their own to like explore this new ideas, work on this to make their uh, career better, right? Like make you more suitable for today's market. So so we saw this, and we are also since working in different parts of the world, like US, Germany, UAE, and India. So we know the different working styles, how markets are responding, and based on that, we kind of had designed this program of 3 months, where we will try to bridge the gap between the current academics and industry. And today, like one of the new latest cohorts which we will be starting is based on this LLMs and the practical introduction to industry. And basically, what will happen through this program is like first 1.5 months, I can also show you a little bit more detail in the topics. So we will teach you engineering part, like how things are built in industries, what are the factors to look at. So I can also share you this link. So this is also, we have this application part. You can see there is a small fee as well, because we are mostly volunteer mentors from different companies, but we also have non-volunteering mentors, and also we have a platform, everything, some infra costs. So because of that, we charge uh, a nominal price. And like if you can go and read about the program, I have shared the link, pricing, etc. And you will see that it's like what the current pricing in market and what we are pricing is completely like we are trying to do this for students and to reach out to more students. This idea of mentoring, where industry person like directly talks to you, mentors your path, your learning path, and your practical evaluates your practical work and gives you feedback, etc. So this kind of model we are trying to give for like affordable or reachable price for students. So, and again, like to the whole goal is to again bridge the gap between the academics and industry. And just like in this cohort, we focus on this topic. So first will be some giving you how we work in industry. So that happens in Python Engineering Foundation. Then we take you through different aspects of large language models. So what we find today is people know how to use tools. You might have heard hundreds of tools, easy to code, etc. But people don't understand the fundamentals. So if you don't understand the fundamentals behind it, at some point you will things start breaking, and like you don't effectively know how to improve things. And it also opens a new area, like for example, today we saw open code, which is again an open source uh, tool which was built based on the concepts which similar to concepts which we teach, right? So we also saw that an LLM is behind that. So in order to build a tool like that, you need to understand how LLMs work, how to call them, how to use them in your project. And there are some concepts like RAG, how to evaluate RAG, how to create a robust system based on RAG. Then again, also we briefly saw how MCPs work, but we didn't have time to explain it. But these are the concepts which are being built today. Like these are the things which many of the job requires, right? Being an AI engineer, for example, there is a new uh, job position as well. If you have recently followed LinkedIn, for example, you might have seen forward deployed engineer. All this are based on engineers who understand the basics of how LLMs work and how the toolings around LLMs are being built and how you can use this knowledge to apply to industry. So this is becoming one of the hottest jobs. Even so, it's a right time to upskill in this area. So that's what I wanted to briefly say about this. So we are already run 3 cohorts now, and what we have seen till now, like, is it's been really beneficial for students in a way that they came very curious with us, and they were very passionate, and there is also they wanted to learn, but they had we were mostly setting the path for them, like where to focus, what to correct, and by the end of the program they were able to achieve quite like meaningful results. Like some students were able to get into internships, and some were able to really get confident on how to build project and finally deliver it. Like many were like just starting a project, stopping in the middle, but they were now more confident by the end of it that I can deliver end to end and like showcase it to someone. So this really is adding value to their CVs and like their career, and they were also very confident by then to build things. So yeah, that's what I wanted to tell. Like mostly this program we are starting by like 2 weeks. So basically, what will happen? Like we have a cohort batch already announced, and we are stopping the registration tomorrow. So before that, I have already you can check the link in the chat for if you are interested in registration. And what else I wanted to. Uh, yeah. So yes, Deepak is asking. It's completely online because we have mentors sitting in different parts of the world. Like for example, Nithin is sitting today in Munich, Germany. So and we offer this mentorship session through online mostly. And some of us are in India. So if you are around Bangalore, we usually visit some colleges. We also plan meetups, connect with professionals, etc. So that's also there. And like generally, like what we want to start is like more like a community process. So it's not like you come to us, you do a course, you did some project with us with our mentorship, and you went away. It's like a beginning of a bigger community and like a longer collaboration. So we are building this community of students, early professionals. So if you are also an early professional, also we definitely help. So reach out to us or apply like if you are interested. And we want to take this like initiative to like really upskill everyone. Like we want to reach as many as possible, upskill as many people as possible, so spread the knowledge. So that's the whole goal here. And if there are any questions related to this, feel free to ask as well in the chat. Yeah, Preetham, yes, you have a okay. So yeah, that's also like something which there is no one correct answer, right? Because things are changing every 6 months. So let's say, for example, 1 year before I was writing 50% code. Today I write 95% code with these tools. But what has not changed is like knowing the systems behind it, having the knowledge of how things work. That was still useful, like to design the system, to know when something is bad or something is good, to judge, the skill to judge what to do, what steps should be taken is still relevant. So yeah, it's fine if you are like learning in your I don't know if you're a student, or I'm assuming you're a student. So you can use these tools, but never forget that you still need to know how things work, what these technologies are, what this AI is trying to do, to really understand the trade-offs and make a better judgment. So that's the more like that's the skill which for us it's really benefiting. Like we are able to make the judgment like which path to take. AI is just producing the code, but we have built the system before it, like the designing phase. Today we just showed a small like requirement gathering phase, but we still have some designing, how to design test around it. So we still make a lot of judgments there, but AI does the work, like the coding part, but still the decision making, most of it is done by us. And I think you should also see like wherever you add value on top of AI is where like there will be really some future. So yeah, I think you have to work towards that. So yeah, in this mentorship program, that's also what we are trying to do is like it's not just about teaching. We want you to learn how to learn new things. So that's the more most important thing here. As you already know with AI, like we are doing more things on the go. So you also have to learn a lot of things on the go and how you can do that faster and effective and without losing things is also the mode here. Yeah. Yeah, if there are any other questions. If not, okay, then we can move to the next part, which is just a feedback form from you. So, like, I don't know, like it was really great to see that many of you have joined this session on a weekend. So this clearly shows there is a lot of interest in similar sessions. So what I have done, like I have shared this feedback form, and we will be providing a certificate for whoever joined today. And please feel free to fill the form so we can issue a certificate. And yeah, if there are any questions, also we are available here. We will be here for next 5-10 minutes if you want to ask something. So Kunal, yeah, like for the mentored course, the 3K is for, first of all, it's like per month. And what I wanted to share, like it's for each mentorship, like sorry, sorry for the noise. No, it's only for one course. So uh, we have one more mentorship job opening for cloud in 1 or 2 months. So currently we only are doing the industry LLM development. So this fee is only for this course. Yeah, Preetham, yes. Generally, we also have this like this whole idea is of mentorship. Like we, we will give you technical guidance as well as how you should focus on your uh, finding a job, etc. So yeah, we can give you some guidance on like how to how to develop your skills to get job in Germany or outside India, for example, or if you want to go for research, what kind of skills you should develop. We will definitely give some guidance. Yeah, Kashish, yes, I understand like these tools are overwhelming and there's a lot of things. So that's exactly one reason we have this mentorship program where we start from little basics. We have defined a structured path to how you, from where you should start to what you can do. So, but if you want to just explore yourself first, so I would recommend to like watch some basic courses in of, for example, you know, Andrew NG, like deep learning course from Andrew NG. Like he have really amazing courses on uh, how to get started with AI, etc. But it's also he also talks about classical machine learning, deep learning AI. But if you are looking for LLM related, I would say just And there are still many courses in YouTube. Just go to beginner level, try to understand what it is, then learn prompting, then try different models, then learn about tools, etc. Yeah, I definitely understand. It's like every day you see new models, new tools, so you get overwhelmed. But the discipline is more important. Like spending 1 hour per day, or like whichever is more comfortable, considering your other engagements. So yeah, keeping the consistency is more important. So once you start into this, you get more idea. And if you still feel overwhelmed, you can definitely join like we still have many batches. So one of the batches is starting like this month. But if you are still, you can explore yourself. Then if you can also join us in the next batch, which starts in next month. So yeah, you can reach out to us if you need any help. So yeah, if you have filled the feedback form, it's we will send you the certificate uh, through your email. So yeah, feel free to leave if you have filled the form. And if you have any questions, you can ask directly as well. Now there is no need to write in chat. You can directly talk as well. So any questions? So yeah, if there is nothing. We'll just wait 1 more minute and we'll stop the call. So is there anyone still filling the form?